Are you thinking about DIYing your own trademark application? Well, today I'm going to tell you why maybe that's not a great idea. Ready? Let's do this. Hey, my name is Jim Hart. I'm back at you here from Hawthorne Law, where we help entrepreneurs and small businesses to protect their brands and get their business legally legit. And today I want to talk with you about some of the reasons why you may want to think about, thinking twice before you actually file your own trademark application. I talk with a lot of prospective clients every single week about hiring my firm for their trademark application. And, aside from the question of why do I even need to worry about a trademark application, which I did in a different video, I'll put a link down in the show notes for that. Aside from that, a lot of people wonder, well, this seems fairly simple. Why can't I just do this on my own? And the reason why I tell people that they really should think about having a lawyer help them is because when it comes to the trademark application, you have to understand it's a very simple application. I call it deceptively simple. And the reason why it's deceptively simple is because to someone who's never filed a trademark application before, they look at it and they think, well, I kind of forget where I was because I'm not running off notes here today, and the memory was full on the little dipstick thingy that goes in the camera. So I had to delete a bunch of stuff off. Now I'm back. I think what I was talking about, what goes into a trademark application, how the trademark application is what I would call deceptively simple. What do I mean by that? I mean that I'm going to tell you right now. I'm giving you the goods. Here's what goes into a trademark application. You need the owner of the trademark. You need their address. You need their contact information. You need the trademark itself, what it is that you intend to trademark. It's usually a word or a logo. It could be other things, but those are the two main things that we're talking about. A word is called a word mark. A logo is called a design mark. You could also have what's called a combination mark, but I'm not going to get into all that stuff today because you really probably don't care. Then you need to describe what it is that you're selling, and you need to categorize those products or services into one of 45 classes. And there could be more than one class on an application. You can include, one class, two classes, 10 classes, it doesn't matter. Whatever you want to include on your trademark registration needs to be included in the class. Now, I will tell you, every class that you include on your application is a $250 or $350 fee, depending on how you file it. I typically recommend the $350 fee because for a variety of reasons that I'm not going to get into. So it depends on the type of application you're filing. Now, that being said, so you've got the classes, then you have to describe what you're selling. So these are the goods or services that you're providing. If you're selling a product like a microphone or a camera or a coffee mug, those are considered products. If you're selling services like a law firm or an accounting firm or a fitness trainer or something like that, marketing services, those are considered services. So it could be goods or services on your application. You have to describe that. Then you have to basically sign a page that says that, you're attesting that all this information is true. And then the other thing is you have to decide whether or not you're filing a 1A application or a 1B application. So a 1A application means that you are actually using your trademark in commerce. A 1B application means that you're intending to use the trademark in commerce, but you're not using it yet. And then you sign, you pay the fees, you submit the application, and that's it. But what you need to understand is with every single thing that I just explained, there's multiple ways that somebody who doesn't know what they're doing can mess it up. Why is this important? Because once you submit that application to the trademark office, I've talked about this in other videos, you're now, guaranteeing your place in line for that trademark. So if you're building a brand and you're going to be investing a lot of time and money and effort into building that brand over the coming months while you're waiting for your trademark application to go through, then let's explain what this looks like, what that process actually means. So once you submit that trademark application, the trademark application goes into a queue. And right now, it's taking roughly 8 to 10 months for the trademark office to assign your file, your application, to an attorney, what's called an examining attorney at the trademark office, and then for them to respond and let you know whether or not it's okay to proceed to publication, which is the next stage, or whether there's problems with your application such that they would need to issue what's called an office action. What most of my clients do is we do a lot of work up front to make sure that application is filed correctly so that by the time it gets to the stage where the examining attorney is looking at it, hopefully there's very minor problems, if any problems at all. Now, I can't guarantee anything, obviously, as an attorney, but we do a pretty good job of doing the work up front to make sure there's not going to be problems. Now, if there are going to be problems, and where we see the majority of the problems is with people who have filed their own application. Some of those problems can be fixed, and some of those problems can't be fixed. And if the problem can't be fixed, then you basically, not only are your fees to the trademark office non-refundable, but you just lost 8 months of time between when you filed your application and when your application theoretically got rejected by the trademark office. Now, some people think they file the application, they get their trademark in like a week or two. They just need to fill out some forms with the USPTO. That's not the way it works. Like I said, it can take anywhere from 12 to 18 months to get that final registration, assuming you're actually using the trademark in commerce. If you're not using it, if you're intending to use it, it can actually take much longer because you don't actually get a registration until your trademark is used in commerce. Why is this important? Well, first off, I'm getting a little parched again, a little sip. Okay, this is important because if you go back and watch some of my other videos, you'll learn people can file applications after the fact. So if you file an application for a really great name, that's public record. People know that you filed that application for that name. And people can jump in behind you and file an application for the same or a similar name if they know that there might be something wrong with your application. And they're just kind of waiting for your application to drop off, and then they can squat on your name, and potentially they're called trademark squatters, and then they can goad you into paying them money to give up the trademark application. So that's where it can be a problem. Or it might not be that evil. It might just be that somebody else has a great idea for a business, and it just happens to be that it's very similar to your name and it's in the same industry, and they could go ahead and file a trademark application after you. And if you just waited 8 months, now that's 8 months when somebody can file an application that's deceptively similar to yours, which is not outside the realm of possibility. It happens all the time. Now, when you have to go back and refile, because many of these errors on your application are not fixable, by the time you refile, there might be other trademarks that are now in line ahead of you. It's kind of like if you go to an amusement park and you're in line for, you know, a roller coaster we go to Cedar Point every year. I don't know if people know where Cedar Point is, but it's in Sandusky. We've got family that live up there, and so we try and take our kids to Cedar Point every single summer. And when we first get in, you run to the roller coaster you want to ride because there's like a 2-hour wait maybe 3-hour wait if you show up any other time of the day. And let's say you're first in line and you go, and then like you're halfway through the line, and you know, for some reason the line shuts down, or the ride shuts down. There's a maintenance issue or something. And so some people will get out of line and they'll say, wasn't anticipating this to break, so we'll just come back and do it another day, or maybe we'll wait till later in the day to do it. Well, if you get out of line, now everybody that was behind you is now in front of you, and you have to come get back in line later in the day. Well, you just lost your spot. And it's the same thing with the trademark office. If you have to jump out of line because you're abandoning your trademark application, now everybody that was in line behind you gets priority over you with their trademark application. So that's why it's really important to make sure this gets done the right way the first time when you first file it. And like I said, the fees to hire a trademark attorney are, you're talking a couple $1,000s, and you're going to have somebody who can walk you through the process step by step and make sure you do it. And there's all sorts of ways that you can make up that application. I'll do that in another video, talk about how the different mistakes, that doesn't make any sense. Talk about the different mistakes that you can make with your trademark application and help you kind of avoid some of those things. I'll do that in another video. I did another video that talks about the main reasons why you really should think about filing a trademark application to begin with if you're building a brand or building a business. And I will link to that video right here. Watch that, check it out. Thank you for watching today, folks. Don't forget to like, subscribe, all those things. I love you, and I will see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.